G'day all. You're looking at our next major project, which is an Albion Reiver RE29L. It's a big rigid truck, bogie drive, can hold 11 tonne, it's got a 24-foot tray. It's got a custom made bull bar that we'll put back on it when we fully restore it. That's the plan with this truck, sort of be a showpiece in a way. But it's actually quite a nice job of a bull bar for it. It's got a little ding in it up on that side which you might be able to see, but we'll push that out of it. It has got the grill, which is here, but it needs a bit of panel beating, a couple of dents here and there on it. We don't have the big Albion sunshine like badge that they had on the grill, but then again there's no bolt holes here that suggests it ever had one, so I'm not too sure on that. It's not the original colour. You'll see the original colour in the cab there. More of a light blue. It comes with, if I get in the truck, it's supposed to be a luxury cab. Aftermarket window washer, which still sounds like it works. We've got diff lock there. It's got a 6th speed overdrive on the gearbox, and it's got a Leyland 400 as its power plant. Now, the engine says it's from 1966, and if you hop out the front, you'll see we have another engine, Leyland 400, that's also from 1966, but it's got a different air compressor and injection pump on it, so we'll have to swap them over out of the engine that's in here, and I'll tell you why. This engine was used as a farm truck for carting hay, hence why there's a lot of baling twine on that tail shaft, which will be fun to get off. But on the last time of its running life, it got hot. Now we've had the sump off this truck, and evidently the pistons grabbed pretty much all the sleeves, pulled them down, and they all got smashed up. So there's bits of sleeves and bits of piston rings that's just filled the sump. So that engine there is pretty cactus. But that's why we've got the other one. Now we've had the other one actually going. It was sold to us as a running engine. So we just hooked some diesel up to it, and as soon as we got all the air out of the line, away it went. Now, this engine came out of a TK Bedford, and it's been repainted, and it blew zero blue smoke at all. So being in such evidently good nick and being repainted, we've got our fingers crossed and hoping that this engine's actually been rebuilt at some part and it's actually in very good shape. So we think it'll just be a job of repainting that engine, changing the air compressor and injector pump over so that it's the same configuration as what's in the truck, and hopefully we'll be able to just slot that engine in and it should work wonders, because as I said, it does go. But the panel work and all that, overall it's in pretty good shape. There's very minimal rust and pretty much no dings or anything in it. The hood lining there, seen better days, that'll have to be replaced. The only thing holding it up there is the air horn, which is aftermarket. It's at the top there. It's actually off of an International Harvester. That's what it says on the back, that's its brand. But you can see on the tray there, missing a lot of its clearance lights. So we're going to have to source some lights for it. I know we've hooked batteries up to it. The blinkers are stuck on, the right hand blinker works. I know the wipers work too. But we've got no key for it, so we're going to have to do something about that. But, there's its badge there. RE29L, it's Scottish made truck. That's the dash for you in the middle. It's done a whole 378 miles. Only goes up to 10,000 or 9,900, but I don't know how many times it's clocked round. But it'll be a fair sized project, but should be pretty straightforward. Obviously I think we'll have to hop out again, do some reupholstering to the seats there. That one, the back's a bit snapped on it. It's only chipboard. Oh, it's plywood, there you go. We can replace that. But That's its battery box under there. Exhaust comes out the side there. You can see the original colour there on the chassis. Toolbox there, that's aftermarket. I think this tray is aftermarket to the truck as well. It's got these slots here for a stock crate because it was a farm truck. Now it has another had another toolbox up the back here, but where are we? There. It's rusted off. There's only about a third of a toolbox left. But I think it'll need new tyres all around, I think, for the highway, but they're staying pumped up for now, or most of them are. If we pop around this side, radiator's in good nick, we hope. Hopefully it's not clogged, hopefully it ran out of water, which is why the engine's done what it's done. That's the diesel tank for it, it's a fair size. Now we've gone around and we've taken all the U-bolts off, so the tray is sort of just sitting there, except for the wiring harness. We've got to pull that, unplug that. So what they were held on with is a big U-bolt, which I'll find one, and then they had just a nut and a spring washer holding the tray. I think there was 4 per side from memory. But yeah, I think our next step on this truck is to pull it out of the shed and look at the wiring harness, see what it needs doing to unplug that from the rest of the tray, and we'll take the tray off it, take the cab off it, we'll repaint the cab obviously, it'll be a full resto on it, and we'll get all new floorboards for the tray, I believe. Yeah, take the tray off and just start working on it from there. Well, and here we are at part 1 of the disassembly process. I'm battling, getting a heap of baling twine that was all wrapped around the tail shafts. Heaps and heaps of it. We give it a pressure wash, got majority of the mud off. And we've just started working on taking the cab off. I've taken both the seats out. And here we're just undoing all the radiator stuff, getting ready to pull the radiator out. And here are the seats. I undid that one off its bracket, but didn't realise I actually just held in by 4 pegs, so they just lift out as a whole, like I did with the driver's seat there. But we're just sort of going along, taking stuff off, just enough so we can take the cab off. So we'll do the radiator, but I think we'll work on steering column as well. Probably have to undo linkages with pedals and the handbrake and the gearbox lever and all that. Just got to pull everything off just so we can take the cab off, so that's what we're working on. There you go, here we are with the truck as a cab chassis still. We've disconnected every single thing and we're ready to take the cab off. The only problem we've run into is that our front end loader doesn't quite lift high enough to take the cab off, because we've actually got to take the cab off over the steering column there, so we've got to lift it a long way, and the handbrake lever for that matter, we've put over that. So we're going to tow the truck, we just put the steering wheel back on, we're going to tow it down to the loading dump, and we're going to park this nose into the loading dump, and then we'll take the tractor up on top of the loading dump where we'll have plenty of reach, and hopefully we can lift the cab off there. And then we'll just slap the steering wheel back on and just tow it back as just a bare chassis. So we'll tow it over there and we'll see how it goes. scary when I don't have the handbrake nearby, because I don't want to run into it. Alright, well we've got it in place, pretty damn close to the loading dump. We might have to bring the tractor just a tad more forwards, but we'll give it a go on lifting the cab off. Yeah, the floor is hitting the battery box there. There you go, that's a cabless truck. It's all off. The only thing that was catching on, which is all given with a shove, was the handbrake lever. It was just catching on the slot through the floor of the cab. So, but other than that at all, we have one more little purple wire, which I think was something to do with the clearance lights or the tail lights. And we just give that a snip because it's all part of the same cluster, we know, because the tail lights. And we're going to probably run new wires for most of it anyway. So yeah, our plan worked, and we followed the manual and did what it said. So the only thing extra we had to do was the high-low range, which is that one coming out just to the right of the earth strap, which wasn't on the manual, but this truck has it, so I guess it must have been an option. But there you go, that's a cabless truck. So here we are with the truck in the shed. We're just working on taking the water pump off of it, and we just tapped that aluminium cover there and poked a hole in it, and there's all, you know, evidence of water leak going all around that. And we took the water pump off eventually, and well, there's supposed to be a neck in there, I assume, and it's just been turned into white dust, and like that's all gone away in a, yeah, there you go, that's a good example of it. So horrendously corroded, and that's why the engine just cooked itself, because it just corroded through there and lost all of its water, got hot and grabbed and put the internals in the sump. So we found out why it's done what it's done. Well, here we've got some weight taken by the tractor, or the front end loader, because we've gone through the 27-step process in the book. We've got undone the front engine mounts. We've got to undo these bolts here and here, and we've got to take that cross member out. And at the back here, because we're taking the engine and gearbox out as one, I believe what it means in the book is this nut here and the one underneath it, or maybe some nuts and bolts to do with that piece, but that piece doesn't actually have to come out. You sort of lower it and then take it out the front. And there's no other mounting sort of on the back of the gearbox just hangs off of that. But we've basically stripped all the accessories and stuff off it, as you've seen in, you know, just a moment ago. But yeah, we're just working on taking these last couple of bolts out, and then we'll take the engine and gearbox out as well. Well, just like that, that's how you remove a engine and gearbox out of an Albion Reiver RE29L. Yeah, lifting point in the book, it was saying well, it was about 2.5 inch or 2 inch, 5 centimeters back from the furthest back head cover bolt, which we assumed was that, which would make it about here, and that's sort of where we were. We were about there. It was close enough to the center, like pivot point of weight. But yeah, no, it doesn't look much like a truck anymore, does it? Anywho, that's another step out of the way. We've got to now pull a heap of stuff off of that and put all of the bits and pieces off of this engine onto that engine. So that's one of the next steps, but I think, I'm not entirely sure what we'll do yet, because we're not there yet. I mean, close, but we've got to take obviously the accessories like air compressor and injector pump, bits and pieces. I think that's in a different spot on our truck. So we'll basically strip that one down to the same as what we stripped this one down, and we'll repaint the engine, and then we'll stick accessories on, just because it's obviously easier to paint in behind there when there's no injector pump on there. So we'll do that. And I know this plate here has to go on that engine because that's got an alternator. This has got a generator, so it's got a different mounting bracket. Also the sumps are different. You'll note this one here's got basically the same depth to it, how deep it is, whereas that one there, you can see it gets thinner on that side. So we've got to change the sumps over. I think something to do with the dipstick is different as well. I think our dipstick goes in that hole there, whereas this thing's dipstick, oh yeah, that one's dipstick goes into a hole in the side of the sump down there. But it does, I think it does have the hole for it, for where that one is, because they're both Leyland 400 engines, they're both the same. They're just out of different trucks. That one was out of a TK Bedford, I may have mentioned that already. But yeah, that was out of a TK Bedford. This is obviously fairly short, original out of an Albion Reiver. So yeah, that's a good bit of progress done on the truck. So I don't entirely know what we'll tackle next, whether we make the engines, you know, worthy of, you know, make that engine worthy of going back in the truck, or whether we just keep pulling this one to bits. Because obviously we've got, you know, lots and lots of, a bit like there's 9 uni joints on it, you know, all that's got to be checked, and there's melted in baling twine in around where seals are supposed to be, and I've got to check the air receivers and bloody everything.
because you know all that sort of breaks are important. Because yeah, obviously that's why we never had any breaks at the start. But yeah, no, we'll choose what's next and we'll attack it. But I think that's a damn good bit of progress just for a weekend's work. Yeah, so we'll get on to whatever's next.
Alright, so I've been lying underneath here at the back end, just chiseling off bits of bits of grease and stuff that's stuck on everywhere, and I decided to pull the plates off these drums. They're a bit full of dirt. You see that there's sort of what it's supposed to be like with a lip going down the back. I clean that up a bit. There's a bit of juice left on the shoe there, but not necessarily supposed to be full of dirt. and every single one of them is the same. I think that one there is just about the worst. Can't even see the chute, but they're all the same, so we'll probably have to try and get them top half off as well with a couple more. Just those two bolts basically on the top, get them off, and yeah, they're just absolutely chockers with just dirt and hopefully not necessarily grease, but baling twine and hornet's nests and probably grease. It's a bit sticky. Anyway, it's definitely been horrendously bogged at some point, this truck, because in between the wheels, as you can possibly see in here, it's just caked with dirt, and it's really hard and it's full of rocks and it's all. So yeah, we're gonna have to try and get them off. We've heated up those, if you can see there, heated up those wheel nuts, and they don't want to budge, so we're going to go and source an inch rattle gun and give them hell to make them come off, because we just couldn't do it with heat and with a big wheel spanner. So anyway, we'll carry on cleaning. Here we are on the 18th of May 2024. We've got the chassis of the Albion right for priming. I didn't film a whole lot of cleaning it because it's just a lot of the same stuff, sandblasting and wire wheeling and cleaning off all the streaks of tar that were down the chassis. Terps actually cleaned that stuff off all right. Then you just go over with a sandblaster and clean whatever else you need to. Haven't done the drums yet because we've got to go inside those, which I did film all the dirt and stuff that's inside them. So we're just gonna, because it's getting on towards winter, getting dewy, there's gonna be a lot of moisture about, so before the truck turns to rust again, we're gonna prime everything, and then we'll probably get into the drums and other little bits and pieces that need going more into, like the brakes and that as well. So right now, I think we'll get into priming it. Here we are with a primed chassis, and if I sound slightly cooked, it's because, yes, I am sick, but the good weather, good painting weather doesn't wait for anyone, so we'll soldier on. Now the last clip you're seeing with us just painting this last little bit, we used the 4 litre tin of primer for the whole lot and ran out with that little bit to go. So it's the following weekend from that now, whatever date that is, I don't know. And whilst we've got some good weather, we're going to try and put some black on it this weekend as well. So we haven't yet attacked any brake things, but in case the weather just turns to crap and can't paint for 3 months, you know, we'll get some black on it, and hopefully all goes well. And for doing underneath, like the diffs and bits where you have to turn the gun upside down, because you sort of can't really do that without pouring paint on yourself, I've sourced a bit of an apparatus, and we'll lift it up. We'll lift the truck up in the air a bit so we can paint black underneath it without turning the gun upside down. So anyway, we'll get into making it black.
It's 90% black now. We did that yesterday. It was just starting to get a bit cold on us yesterday, a bit much moisture in the air, so we sort of left it. But we also left bits to do, like underneath the diffs and other bits right on the bottom that you can't get to without turning the gun upside down, and all the paint dribbles on your face. So we decided that was unpleasant, so I'm going to call on my special apparatus that I've recently acquired, and we'll lift it up in the air a bit so we can get under it and paint it with a bit more ease. Okay, it's lifted up in the air now. We lifted it up a little bit more and set it on some 20-litre drums full of concrete. They're old hay tarp weights, so it's not just sitting on tin. But we can get under there now without pouring paint on ourselves, and we can paint all the bits we've missed. Pretty confident that that I'm done painting everything black, just apart from where that sling is. So we'll pick it back up, take the drums out, drop it back down on the ground, paint that last little bit, and then the black should be done. So get in and we'll make the train go. Well, there we have it. Chassis's finished and painted black. Just got to work on the next step. I think will be just working on all different brake components just to make sure they're all A1, because we haven't attacked any of that yet. We just painted it whilst we had good weather just before winter. But I think I'll end part 1 here. I think the video will be long enough. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 2 where we attack brakes and the engine.